Fanatic app.
All right, 7 a.m. on this Football Friday, Johnny. Payday Friday. Schedule release Friday. And, of course, we're also reacting to the press conference that took place yesterday with the Philadelphia 76ers. Bob Myers and Joshua Harris will play some more clips for you coming up here in a little bit. But also, beginning this hour, we have to try to figure out the 5 losses that John Kincaid has on his schedule. So, Austin, you and I are going to have to team up here, all right? Because each year, John Kincaid, if you have not listened to the show at all.
Ever in your life.
If you've never listened to John Kincaid, ever, he is anti-W's and L's.
I think it's the stupidest thing ever.
So it has been up to me to try to get the wins and losses out of John over the last couple of years.
Because we do stupid things on the show, so I said I should be into it.
But this year, you actually are playing. It's just, we just spin it a different way.
Well, you got me.
But you actually played along. I'm proud of you.
In a different way. Can you find, and young Nate, haircut, has the 5 losses in his possession in a sealed envelope that he will then reveal later on in the show. Now, everybody on our team here will have the opportunity to put down the 5 losses they see that they believe I have picked. Not that you pick or whatever, it's that I pick. You're trying to get my answer of what you believe.
Yep. We'll try to figure that out.
Try to figure it out.
I already have, because I'm also going to do W's, like where I think there's no way he's going to say L. I highly doubt, Austin, that he has an L for either week 1 or week 2.
Yeah, no, I don't.
The opener against the Commanders and the road game in Tennessee.
I think you are a highly tactical individual because, by the way, if you've ever had any kind of like statistics class or analyst class, you're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
That is the way you're supposed to do it.
Everyone knows me as highly intelligent.
You're supposed to eliminate. Supposed to eliminate things that way.
How do you think I got by? Now, can I ask one question?
Sure, why not?
Is Week 18 a starters are resting loss? Can I just get that one out of the way?
What I will tell you is I believe Week 18 will mean something.
Okay.
I believe Week 18 is going to mean something.
All right. So I will put
is that good?
That's a W. I would imagine that's a W.
That Week 18 is going to mean something.
Okay. All right, Austin. So we got 3 games in the books already.
Yeah, and I think you and I kind of got one yesterday when we were just spitballing teams.
Yeah. So we'll figure this out as the show goes on. Now, real quick, in terms of heading to, because we know how well Eagles fans travel. I've been talking about the Philly Sports Trips destination of Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. That's the week 2 matchup.
It's going to be awesome.
Looking at the road games.
It's going to be hot as hell, by the way, in Tennessee still at that time of year.
I'm sure.
That should be still, as a 26-year Southerner, that still could be just hot as hell.
Your travel games, Tennessee, Chicago, London for the game against the Jags, division matchups, Arizona and San Francisco.
Arizona, early December, great golf. Oh, my gosh.
I think that's going to be a big one for a lot of people.
To go play golf, go play True North. And I'm sure Philly Sports Trips has done it before. I'm not sure if Vince has got a trip planned to True North to play some golf.
Sure, he's got something. But just go to phillysportstrips.com. He has the Nashville trip already all planned out. So I would imagine he's got the other ones in the works.
What I'm telling you is there's always, it's great golf and it'll be perfect weather.
So,
oh, jeez, is that going to be fun?
And now the reverse. Week 3 in Chicago is a lot better than Week 12 in Chicago.
See, I think that's an advantage playing them at that time.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'm talking more so for travel, but yes,
no, but that's a big advantage even if you're going for that trip. The only problem with that is too for a lot of people is they're like, damn, it's a Monday. Because it's like a Monday.
And it's right when school starts. It's the first month of the school year.
I didn't like how that one fell for people.
But I would rather go to Chicago in Week 3 than in Week 12.
Oh no, you would
to avoid the cold.
You absolutely would.
So is number 1 destination for you Arizona because of the time of the year?
Arizona number 1.
Okay. What about San Francisco?
No, never. I don't want to download the poop app. I don't want. No, thank you.
All right,
I've spent enough time in San Francisco in my business career, and I remember when it was beautiful.
Is London in the top 3?
No.
So you and I, and Austin, you were in this conversation the other day, right?
Not for football, though, and it's no knock because Philly Sports Trips is awesome, and it's to me is if I'm going on Philly Sports Trips, I'm going for the immersive Eagles experience.
Right.
If I'm going to London, I'm going to London.
That's my takeaway too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think my wife really wants to go to London. It's a place that we have not gone to yet. I don't think I would do, well, here's our excuse to go. Like, no, let's just plan the trip and freaking go.
And here's the thing, like when I go to other cities though, like if the Phillies are playing, like, yeah, I'm trying to go to the game. But if I'm going to a whole nother country atmosphere that I haven't been to, I want to explore the world instead of like going to the game. And then guess what? What if it's the worst trip ever and they lose? And now I'm bummed out for the rest of the time.
And we're going to slip in a little bit of the history. I'm going to see all the history and everything like that.
Absolutely.
That would be my first choice of that. And it's no knock on Philly sports trips. And there's some people who've already been to London, have already done that stuff, who want to do it again. That's different. That's a whole different situation. I've never been. So for me, it's a different situation.
Sure.
What's the cheesesteak comp over in the UK?
The fish and chips.
Yes,
fish and chips. That's like this is what we do.
Because food over there is horrible.
Yeah.
From what my wife has told me, the food is.
It's terrible. Like the Phillies; they lack seasoning. All right, let's check the Davis Honda text line. Feel the Davis difference. Check them out in Burlington. 610-632-0975.
A little bland, a little white bread.
And then you'll hear from Josh Harris about the luxury tax, which is always a big topic of conversation in this city. What do we have on the text line, Austin?
Yeah, so this is from Bill. He said the Eagles have 5 primetime games so far. Do you think that is just on par, or do you think they should have gotten more?
They have the most standalone games in the NFL.
Yeah, primetime's not just night.
Like primetime is when you're in a standalone game where you were the only game in town. The Eagles have the most in the NFL. That's not by accident. The NFL thinks the Eagles are going to be really good and really worth the primetime audience in the eyeballs.
Yeah, they also know the market, right? They know this market.
They know the Eagles have been a huge draw, but they also believe this Eagles team is going to be really good.
Albert Breer broke it down. There are 8 teams that ended up with 6 or 7 primetime games: Cowboys, Eagles, Bears, Packers, Seahawks, Bills, Chiefs, Rams. Are you surprised by any of those teams?
No.
Cowboys, we know. Eagles, we know.
No.
Chicago market, obviously also a rising team.
And you got to capitalize on the Chicago market when they're hot.
Yep. Packers.
While they're hot.
Seahawks are the defending champions. LA market with the Rams, and then Buffalo and Kansas City. Like, that's no surprise whatsoever for those teams that have all that. All right. What else we got?
Yeah, so this is also from Josh. He said, going through the schedule, he said, really, the only 2 teams I'm really scared about in regards to like a tough matchup back-to-back is weeks 3 and 4 with Chicago and the Rams.
Yeah, those are 2 really good opponents back-to-back. And the Chicago Bears game is a second straight road game. You know, how much does that play a factor? That's a tough stretch. But remember, Rams are coming east again. And it's another 1 o'clock start. I don't get that. Like Eagles Rams,
I don't either.
I would. We're having the same conversation as we had last year. I would think that's a marquee matchup for the National Football League. You have both first the Philadelphia and LA markets. Like
but here's the problem is though, the LA market, if you look at it though, it's not the great TV market you think it is compared to other markets.
Right.
It's not.
And it's because maybe they don't have that attachment to the Rams like they would the Lakers or the Dodgers.
It's not the same. To us it is. In our heads we go LA. Right. It's not.
But those 2 teams, like that, those have been great matchups. Again, it came down to a blocked field goal last year. 2 games ago was the Snow Bowl game in the playoffs. 1 o'clock again. Rams have to try. Rams, that's always tough for an LA team to have to go the West Coast to East Coast trip for a 1 o'clock start.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Yes. Yeah, sure.
So 1 o'clock on the East Coast is like, why are they playing there? I'm just looking at the Fox 425 game, Dolphins Vikings.
Oh,
I wish I was lying, but it's Dolphins Vikings that day.
What are they getting out of that? You don't even know who's playing for the Dolphins, and then what, 9?
That's really weird.
Ew.
But remember, though, you have to feature, every team has to be featured a certain amount of times.
Okay.
So, wow, that's bad. By the way, the Dolphins do very well on national TV.
Sure.
Which is really weird. Which is really weird that because they have not done a thing in forever.
Yeah, that's disgusting. All right, Sixers, as we're doing the balancing act between the Sixers and the Eagles schedule release. Yesterday, Josh Harris also at the podium, and I'm glad somebody asked it. it's something that I have not totally agreed with a lot of our fellow Sixers fans, John, where people think they're always trying to get under the tax and trying to save money and all that kind of stuff.
I don't believe it at all. They have the 3 most expensive contracts in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't believe the narrative makes no sense.
And, oh, by the way, they've paid the top executives. They've paid the top coaches, Nick Nurse, Doc Rivers, Daryl Morey.
Their facilities are considered in the NBA player survey, considered to be like top third of the league.
Yeah.
They don't skimp there.
So I don't buy it at all. Agreed with a lot. I'm not sitting here saying Josh Harris is some great owner. Like, I just don't agree with that sentiment, especially when the Sixers were 100% trying to then use that Jared McCain trade to get something else. Daryl Morey just completely misread the market. There's been a recent song and dance online that Daryl never wanted to trade Jared McCain.
That's ridiculous.
And I don't believe that's true at all. So Josh Harris was asked about the Jared McCain trade and the tax and getting under the luxury tax, and this was his answer.
The front office absolutely has the green light to go into the luxury tax. In fact, we've been in and out of the luxury tax. And so it's not an issue. I mean, it's just not an issue. We're building an arena here. I can tell you that, the amount of dollars you spend on that versus the luxury tax, it's magnitudes more. We built this facility. We've signed a number of max deals. So there's no issue with the luxury tax. And so I'm glad that you asked.
Yeah, I mean,
to me, it's honestly sort of a dumb narrative. Because I don't believe for a second that the one thing, look, you can get on Harris for whatever you think. I think he is obsessed with his Washington Commanders.
Yes.
I think that's where his attention lies. I think that is where his desire lies to, if anything, the Sixers will always be a stepchild to him. They're never going to be his love. They're never going to be his number one focus. But to me, don't tell me he's cheap. Don't tell me he's cheap. Don't tell me he's not. I don't buy it.
And like last year, and I'm not talking about the season that just ended, I mean the 2024-25 season, they sucked. So like they traded assets away because they were losing. And by the way, trying to lose once Embiid and Maxey and George were all shut down. They had a mini tank, which landed you VJ Edgecombe. So like even last year, I look at it as a team that was losing.
They were not.
And were you upset that they traded Kenyon Martin? Like, were you upset about that 2 seasons ago? So I don't totally agree with that sentiment that a lot of fans have.
I don't at all.
I get that it didn't look good with the McCain trade, but again, I'm under the impression that he wanted to make another move. Tony Jones, who we had on a lot this year, he straight up said, look, he had moves lined up. They just fell through. And then if you really want to know, all right, how truthful is he being? Maybe you don't want to listen to Josh Harris, but Bob Myers. This was Bob Myers talking about just that.
I just can't imagine a day where if I said to Josh or leadership said to Josh, this deal makes us a contender, but you have to go into the tax. If he says no, which he won't, I wouldn't work for somebody like that. Because look, to be honest, if you look at the history of teams that have won a championship, I was one of them. We were in the tax. It'd be great if you can win a championship by not being in the tax. Very hard to do. But it has to make sense. And so I know, and again, I'm not worried about that part of the job because if that comes up, I know what the answer will be.
Yeah, like I can't imagine Bob Myers goes, all right, Josh, yeah, you got it. We'll get under the tax. Like the guy talked about how competitive he was throughout that entire press conference. And he barely has any ties to the Sixers, right? It's just, I want to win this game.
And he is known as that guy.
Yeah.
And
and this isn't, before anybody goes, oh, you're just carrying water because you guys are partners with the Sixers.
No.
I don't have the same reaction that a lot of people do when it comes to the money that's spent or not spent. Because I look at this team, they have, Joel Embiid's going to get $67 million in 3 years. Tell me that's cheap. You know what I mean? Like that's...
The guy is not cheap. The one thing isn't cheap. If you want me to tell you that his obsession is down 95,
sure.
Yeah, that's where his obsession is. That's where his focus is, and that's a shame.
Yeah,
that's a shame to me, but that's the truth.
He always cuts the checks. I mean, and look, I've said it numerous times. As long as he's cutting, I don't need Josh Harris to draft a big man.
No.
I want him to stay away. Quite frankly,
hasn't he been one of those owners that sort of, he hires an executive and lets them do their thing? But maybe that hasn't worked out well with Daryl Morey.
Correct. The problem is, I don't know if there is a balance of power like that. Like they talked about Daryl Morey, talked about the trade, and they signed off on it, all that kind of stuff. Like I don't know. Is Josh Harris evaluating Jared McCain's jump shot?
Like Jeffrey Lurie is involved. Like people will say he's a meddlesome owner. Jeffrey Lurie is involved in day-to-day stuff with the Eagles, but it's overblown what people say he's involved in. Like like he's not dictating to them what they do day-to-day, what goes on. But he's involved, and he's eyeballs. I sort of like an owner like that, and if I was a billionaire, I think I'd want to have eyeballs on stuff too. But I think he's a guy, Harris, that has stroked the checks, and I admire that, at least that part of it, I admire.
All right, I have an area where you have a loss.
An area?
I don't know which game yet.
Okay. What's the area?
Austin, let's discuss this. All right, can you tell me if we're right that there is a loss in this grouping?
Well, that's sort of giving it away.
All right, Austin, then we're gonna do this. I believe
you guys can talk it out.
Send. We got it. Come on.
There will be one loss in this stretch between Monday, October 26th and Sunday, November 8th. Eagles play 3 straight divisional games. Cowboys Monday night, short week at Washington the next week, and then New York Giants. I can't imagine that John Kincaid, Mr. Analysis and Dork Boy and all this stuff, has the Eagles winning 3 straight games against 3 divisional opponents.
Yeah, no, I have a loss within there. We just need to try to find which one.
Are you two going to come up with the same list? Are you combining your list, or are you going to break free of Andrew?
We can break free, but are you on the same page?
Yeah, we're on the same page right there.
All right, there's an L somewhere in there.
Well, the thing is, if you look at it this way, look at what you just did. You went and you said, you talked about the trying to figure out, I know where the wins are. Okay, I know where the wins are. So you're looking at the wins. And if you look at the wins that you say, I know John, I know what he's thinking, then you see gaps where you go, okay, I'm just looking for 5 losses in here. I know there's a loss in this group. I know that you should be able to find where the losses are. I think you guys can even do that. Not that I should have said it that way, but
I'm thinking he's got the Dallas split, and I'm thinking the loss is Thanksgiving.
We're on the same page here.
So that means it's either Washington or New York where it's a loss, which means he has a split in the division there as well. And I would guess it's the short week in Washington.
I was going with the Giants game.
Okay. All right. We'll figure this out.
You'll figure it all out.
We'll figure this out. We're trying.
Whether you figure it out correctly.
Yeah, we'll see who's closer. Again, if you're just tuning in, John Kincaid, very anti-W's and L's, but did play along this year. Mm-hmm. He has a 12-5 record.
Yes,
we have to figure out who the 5 losses are. Austin, you, me, and Amy. It's a Friday with Fadul. Amy will be in studio. We will do the old-fashioned W's and L's later on.
All right, Amy will sign right up for it.
I'm going to go to the bathroom at that point. By the way, I was told last night, and going through, because here I've been checking other things, going through some texts. 1:13 last night, I got a text, so it would have been 10:13 Vegas time.
Okay.
If you like the Eagles over, this is directly from somebody in the gambling industry in Las Vegas. If you like the Eagles over, bang it quickly.
Why? They're going to increase it to 12.5 soon?
Well, he thinks that there could be some money that makes it 12.
Yeah, okay.
And then you don't want that. You don't want it. If it gets there could be a lot of money that goes the Eagles' way. Because, look, you got people like Orlovsky going, man, I love that Eagles.
Can we play it again? Dan Orlovsky, yesterday on ESPN when they were reacting to the schedule, Dan Orlovsky very bullish on the Eagles.
This might be the easiest schedule in football. Okay, wow. Get into it. From an offensive perspective, you're saying starting week 1, Eagles offense, starting week 1, tell me when they run into an elite defense. I'll tell you when it is. It's week 15. It's Seattle. You're going to see a good defense. I think the Rams are going to have a good defense. I like the Giants defense. Be a lot better. Giants good. But I'm talking an elite defense from an offensive perspective. And Philadelphia was going to have a very good offensive line. line with Sean Mannion. This is the easiest that I've seen so far. This is the easiest schedule when it comes to an offense going against defenses that I've seen so far. They don't see an elite unit till week 15.
Dude, very bullish. They don't see an elite defense until week 15, and that's when they play the Seahawks on the birthday of one Liv Kincaid.
Yes, it is. And Andrew Salchunas, which, by the way, I have to navigate wife's birthday, daughter's birthday.
Oh, my God.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. I mean, this schedule, murder for that. But,
Good luck, man.
do it. But wife's birthday and daughter's birthday both. But I'm going to handle the wife's birthday on Saturday night. Because, you don't, Sunday.
You'll
It's not like we're little kids and you have to do it on the birthday itself.
You'll get it taken care of. All right, coming up next, more reaction to the NFL schedule release. Our man Andrew DiCecco will join us coming up next. How does he view trends or things like 4 games coming off of byes for the opposition? The Eagles and the Chargers, the only 2 teams with 4 matchups where their opposition is coming off of a bye. We'll talk about it all with our man Andrew DiCecco coming up next. It is Kincaid and Salchunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, we're about to be joined by our man Andrew DiCecco to get his reaction to the Eagles schedule that dropped yesterday. The task that Austin and I have, and you at home as well, if you're playing along, is trying to figure out John Kincaid's 5 losses. I have 3 losses on the schedule for you already with 6 games that I don't have a feel on just yet.
Okay.
Because I have to think John Kincaid, which is a horrible place to be.
It is. And remember, though, Nerd Boy has a reason for every one of them. So there is going to be maybe some deep thing that you go, oh, okay. When I explain it to you, too, you're going to go, oh.
I have a 4th loss. I just don't know which one. You know how I did the gap of 3 weeks?
Sure.
Dallas, Washington, New York. You have one between the Bears and Rams. I just don't know which one yet.
Okay. There you go.
One of those 2. I can't believe you would have them 4-0 in that stretch. Just a thought, especially with the new offensive coordinator.
They were 4-0 last year, weren't they?
Yes, they were, and you predicted as much.
Yeah, I did.
All right, stop trying to throw me off the scent. Joining us now here on Kincaid and Salchunas from InsideTheBirds.com, and, of course, all over the place here on 97.5 The Fanatic. We do W's and L's with him. Just kidding. Our man Andrew DiCecco joins us. Andrew, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
We're doing good, man. It was great having you in studio yesterday, as always, and now we get to react to the schedule being released. Curious, just some of your initial takeaways. When you first saw it come out, John Kincaid is already penciling in potential NFC Championship game. He said at 6:32 this morning, Andrew, that he is more confident about this schedule than when it came out in 2024.
Yeah, I think I'm there.
He said they're going to the NFC Championship game.
I love the exasperation.
I don't want to point this out, but John also said he felt really good about the Flyers going into that final game there. So
the 49er game.
That's a one-off.
Well, I didn't pick him to beat Carolina now, let's be honest, in the series. So, I mean, that's good. That's it. Is that last
You also said you felt really good about the 49er.
The 49er game I did. Yeah, guilty as charged. But I look, I like the way the schedule breaks out, Andrew. I think that the way that, especially the travel, because it could have been much, much worse than it is. And I think that they spaced out the travel well. And I think, too, that the Eagles are in a real situation, as Dan Orlovsky points out, where I think a new offensive coordinator has got a pretty good landing strip to be able to land a new offense into where they're not facing a lot of elite defense early.
Yeah, that's a valid assessment there, John. And I think you have to like the fact, if you're the Eagles, that once you return home from London after week 5, you don't have to get on a plane again until you go out to Dallas for the Thanksgiving game. The bye week didn't follow the London game, but I think if you're looking at it from a different angle, it does have its benefits, right? So week 10. Leading up to that, they have a 3-game run against the NFC East, which, as we all know, is usually a very physical matchup that there's a lot of attrition there. You then have a bye week. You have extra time to prepare for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is usually a pretty bruising type of matchup based on how they play the game. So you could give yourself a little bit of a boost moving forward down that stretch. So there's always going to be quibbles when you look at the schedule. There's positives and negatives, but if you're looking at it in those terms, I think that could certainly benefit the Eagles.
Andrew, there are 14 teams in the NFL this year that will not be playing an opponent that is coming off of a bye. The Eagles and Chargers somehow both have 4 opponents coming off of a bye before their matchup, and one of them is not. Like, the Eagles are also coming off of a bye. So I'm curious, how much does that matter for the opposition where they're going to be coming in a little bit more rested?
Yeah, not ideal. It's certainly not ideal when they're going to have the advantage of rest. When you get to a certain point in the season, Andrew, any advantage can make the difference. And you certainly don't want to face some of those teams, especially if it's one that you're relatively even or on par with, and they're having the benefit of health coming into that, or at least some added rest. I don't know that I like that. I also, if you're looking at Week 5 going into Week 6 against the Carolina Panthers, who, let's not forget, they opened some eyes last season, and I think they're going to be a bit of a sleeper team or a force in their respective division this year. They have to face them coming off that London game. I think that to me, on initial look, that could be a loss. And
Carolina's coming off of a bye, and as you mentioned, there's a lot there.
What's interesting there is, Andrew, and you may be able to confirm this at a later time, is I was told yesterday that the Eagles declined the bye week after London, that they declined that for a later bye. So somebody within the Eagles beat who's well-connected will be able to confirm that, but I was told that they declined it, and they said, we'll take our bye later in the season. So that is a challenging road to navigate there, though, coming back from London and then facing that Panthers team.
Yeah, especially later in the year when you have the Seahawks, Texans, and 49ers. They have a little bit. They have a 10-day window there before the 49ers game, so that could help. That game could mean a lot, that Week 17 matchup. So it is a fascinating schedule. The Eagles also have the benefit of not having to go to Chicago in the winter. They will face them in September. So that Monday Night Football game is sort of a little bit more balanced right now, I would say.
All right, so Andrew, today's task, we told you about it yesterday, was to try to find the 5 losses that John Kincaid has on his schedule, because he's anti-W's and L's, but he's playing along somewhat. I am with you about the Carolina game. I have that jotted down as a John Kincaid loss. I believe one of those 3 straight NFC East divisional games will end in a loss, and I'm leaning toward the Commanders game. Our own Austin Jones leans toward the New York Giants game heading into the bye. There's another difficult stretch where there will be at least one loss, and it's that Indianapolis, Seattle, Houston, San Francisco stretch.
That's a brutal stretch.
Dude, remember the old gauntlet conversation from a couple of years ago? That one's got to be, division aside, the most difficult stretch in your eyes, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And that really should get you ready for the postseason. I would say that Seattle game is one that I would highlight as a potential loss. The Chicago game on Monday night, in late September, Chicago ran all over the Eagles on Black Friday. Now, I don't expect that to happen necessarily again. The Eagles are a little bit, I'm getting in the weeds here a little bit, but they're a little undersized now on defense, losing to Kobe Dean and adding Jonathan Grenard and taking Jalen Phillips out of the mix there.
We're doing the Week 3 pregame show right now.
Yeah, but so I almost wonder if Chicago is going to try and implement the same thing, and their defense is a little bit better than it was the year before. So I could see that being a loss. The Carolina game you mentioned, Andrew, I'm kind of sitting at 11-6 right now as I'm looking through it.
Oh, 11-6. That would be the under for the win total. How about that?
He would be under. That would make people a little nervous because Andrew looks at things very analytically and looks at it very strong. There is the way things go. What is the you do take weather into consideration, which is an option there. But when you look at the quarterbacks, we talked about it yesterday with those quarterbacks that you have to face. I said, what about, again, though, a little bit deeper, the offenses that they have to face? What about this Eagles defense, which obviously is in some transition with some coaching changes and things like that? What do you think about the offenses that they have to face, and how about early in the season for that, Andrew?
Yeah, great question. You mentioned Caleb Williams yesterday. We spoke about him. That game to me is really interesting. Facing the Rams is another tall task for this defense. And I mentioned that it may be something that's a little under the radar, but it is important to note they're a lot more undersized now at safety with Drew Makuba and take your pick, Marcus Epps, Michael Carter II right now, putting Jahad Campbell in for Nakobe Dean. That's a little bit of a trade-off. And then you have Jonathan Grenard. So I have questions as to whether or not they're going to be able to consistently stop the run or at least control it. I mean, those are something that it's important to note, especially when, as you outlined, John, you're facing some of those pretty formidable offenses earlier in the year when you're trying to figure things out as a defense.
All right, so you have them at 11-6, it seems. And am I seeing you in Nashville?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Hell yeah, man.
Great town.
All right, brother. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for coming on today, as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Even with his big sigh, I appreciate him coming on. I love the big sigh.
Well, I mean,
the exasperated sigh.
He's one win away from you, but you're already talking NFC East or NFC Championship.
Well, NFC
game.
East, pencil it in. You get another one. Yeah, you're getting another one there. That's already. You want to pencil in? You want to hang another banner? Hang another banner. That's it. That you can already. They can already have that. Even though I don't like divisional banners, I am not one of those fans who. I think that's a cheesy look. Considering we are now a championship franchise that has NFC titles and Super Bowls and everything, I wish they would take down the divisional championship banners. I don't like them. I think winning the division is very bogus.
Well, it doesn't happen often in the NFC East.
I understand it's because of your past history that you haven't won a lot of them. Take them down.
Okay.
Take them down. Make them just the championship banners. You got enough now to make the banners really mean something, because I think that's what the real championship organizations don't. Or if you just want one banner that lists the championship years on it, I'd be cool with that. I would just say take down the championship.
Well, they're going to have to do that eventually because there won't be room unless the gigantic new stadium has more room.
Which they could.
All right, I don't have the schedule breakdown in front of me, but Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants, the NFC East is facing the NFC North, NFC South, and AFC North this year in terms of where they finished in the division.
Right.
Eagles, Bears, Panthers, Steelers. Cowboys have Packers, Bucks, Ravens.
I mean,
that one's actually, I think, more of a difficult 3-game stretch than the Eagles.
The fact that the Eagles ended up, because of the way that the Ravens injuries at the end.
Yeah.
The Eagles end up with the Steelers and the Cowboys end up with the Ravens. We got a break.
Commanders have Vikings, Falcons, Bengals. I expect them to potentially sweep those 3. And then the Giants have Lions, Saints, Browns. And the Lions are going to be a tough team. Saints could be a tough team. We'll see about Cleveland. Their defense is very good. But we'll see about it.
We saw Shefty likes them.
Yes, he does.
Shefty likes them.
All right. Coming up next, we will do today's headlines with Austin Jones, who's in for Connor. And also the poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Abidan Appel and the team at Iron Mountain Men's Health. Our question is whether or not the press conference yesterday with Bob Myers and Josh Harris raised hope for you or not. The hope meter, did it go up or down? Very simple yes or no or up or down question. We'll give you the results next, Johnny. It's Kincaid and Sal Chunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Sal Chunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It is a Friday morning, which means Fridays with Fadul. Amy is already out there ready to go. She's warming up the vocal cords.
She just said it's a dumpster in a bag.
Yes, she did. She's practicing.
She's really good at that.
All right, I think I have I can't say all 5 of your losses because I'm split between 2 games, but I know the range in which all 5 losses will take.
And that's what I would expect you would have.
I'm waiting for Amy to come in so I can.
I would think you'd have. I would think you'd have that.
Do you have that at least, Austin?
Yeah, I got 3 games, and I'm debating the final 2 at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's just spots. The Eagles' schedule released yesterday, and John Kincaid 5 losses. We're trying to figure out which ones they are.
And I will tell you that last night I almost texted you and said, make it 4. Because I'm bullish. I am so bullish on this. I'm bullish on the team, and I'm bullish on the schedule. I think the schedule worked out beautifully.
We got to save the clip from 6:32 this morning where John.
I wrote it down.
John is already saying he's more confident today than he was the day the schedule release of 2024, where he had the Eagles going to the championship
I said I was this close to saying that, and I think that but I think I'm ready to almost say that.
Say it with your chest. Don't do the this close thing.
No. I mean, because I'm looking at it because I didn't make that call till May.
Okay.
I mean, a little later last time. I think it was it was summertime. But I'm really close. I love this.
Hold on. This is a big question before we get to the poll. Will Bill Colarulo on Unfiltered today talk about the Commanders?
His Commanders?
Like he did last year.
Oh, they love
if they were going to win the NFC East.
Oh, yeah, and they were scared of the Commanders. Wow,
Commanders have a rough first.
Oh.
Do you know what their first 4 games are?
No, what is it?
The Eagles, obviously.
It's brutal.
Eagles, at Cowboys, host Seahawks, host Colts. That's your first 4 games of the season. 3. And then at the hosting the Giants, we'll see, and then at San Francisco.
I mean, seriously.
That's the first 6 games. They could be 2-4.
I already talked to
Bram. Their bye week.
I talked to Bram last night.
They have a rough.
I talked to the voice of the Commanders last night, and because I saw that it was the opener, and I said, "Oh, we got you for the opener." What did he say? And he goes, "Oh my!" He goes, "What a brutal."
Yeah, they got a rough start, man.
Brutal start.
All right, the poll: Bob Myers, Josh Harris, post press conference. Did your hope meter go up or down, Johnny? What would you answer?
Yes.
No, up or down. You said yes.
Oh no, it went up. It went up. No, I'm like, you can hear my enthusiasm. Okay. My enthusiasm is yes, because Bob Myers can hold a press conference. Daryl Morey wasn't good at them.
58% say down.
What?
Yeah, 58% of our voters right now saying down after the press conference yesterday.
I have no clue why. But then again, there's people who are saying that Joshua Harris is cheap, and I can't figure. I don't know.
We'll continue to update you on the poll.
Honestly say I'm not going to say it.
Time now for today's headlines with Austin Jones.
Today's headlines with Austin Jones.
And today's headlines are brought to you by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers, visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Well, there was a tough debate this time last year of who the 76ers were going to select 3rd overall. A lot of it was VJ Edgecombe or Concanoople. And Concanoople was on Dale Earnhardt's podcast the other day, and they were speaking about his Welcome to the NBA movement.
He was on whose podcast?
Dale Earnhardt.
Dale Earnhardt.
Okay.
No, Dale Earnhardt.
It's huge, man. It's huge.
And he does a good job, too. And it is huge.
Andrew, he drinks about beer. He talks about drinking beer a lot. I think you'd like it.
You would like it.
I was not ready to hear that Dale Earnhardt has a podcast.
Well, where's Conoople playing?
The Charlotte.
Okay. So that's part of the connection.
Okay.
And Dale is a huge
No, I'm sorry. I'm caught up on the wrong thing.
You're good. You're good. Here's Concanoople's Welcome to the NBA moment.
Did you have an NBA moment?
Yeah, I've been saying Andre Drummond, the big from the Sixers. He hit me with a nice screen in the second game of the season. Yeah, that was a tough one. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he say anything?
No. Just drilled me.
Yeah.
Well, he did end up saying something, by the way, because he tweeted at Concanoople.
Yes, he did.
After, okay, I didn't know if you had that in the story. Go ahead.
No, you got it. No, you're fine. You're fine.
Go.
No, but essentially, Andre Drummond followed up and said, sorry about that, Rook.
Yeah. Said, sorry, Rook. At least you only have to see me 4 times out of 82 games. Plenty more waiting for you. Not here, though.
Yeah, not here.
Sorry, Mr. Drummond.
Big Penguin.
Not here.
All right, so we got some golf going on locally here, and we like to have some tough words to enunciate in the Philadelphia area. And there's a viral clip going around of the golfers trying to pronounce some of our local words.
How'd you pronounce that?
No, that sounds Welsh. That looks Welsh.
Give me some help. Give me some help. Balakinwood, yeah. Sounds like a toilet.
That's literally where I grew up. Balakinwood.
You got it. You will be the only one today that get that. Balakinwood. That's right.
I've said it a lot, but I never meant it once. Go Birds!
Go Birds.
And SVP was the one saying "Go Birds." He's a Commanders fan.
Yes.
Balakinwood, they actually did pretty well with.
I think they did well with that,
I watched the whole clip. The one that they really messed up was Schuylkill.
Yeah,
Schuylkill's hard.
They couldn't get Schuylkill.
If you're looking at that and you've never heard it before, and you're going, huh? And then a couple guys messed up Conshohocken.
Well, Conshohocken is, I don't understand how you can't pronounce it. Because you just phonetically, Conshohocken.
Yeah.
Like it's, like phonetically,
one
you
guy
just
said,
but I guess somebody could say Conshohocken.
Yeah, one guy said Conshohocken. One guy said Conshohocken or something like that.
I guess I could now when I look at that.
When you've
it's
never
like
read
where you put the enunciation on it. Okay,
exactly.
By
the way, speaking of the tournament at Aronimink so far, credit to Jamie Kennedy, who is the director of digital content for Golf Digest.
The actor?
Right? Boom, not the actor.
Not the actor. It was, by the way, the prank show and everything, which is good.
There were 190 total 3-putts at Augusta this year. So all 4 days, 190 total 3-putts. These are the best golfers in the world, so that should make you all feel better when I tell you there were 127 yesterday.
Jeez. Wow.
The greens are apparently really tough.
They
190 are. Over a span of 4 rounds, 127 yesterday. How about that? Look at me, Andy Goff.
Last one for the day for us here, gentlemen. It's Friday, so Andrew, I'm sure later on you might find yourself maybe having a beer or two later on.
Yesterday was Thursday.
Oh, man, keep it going.
There you go.
Just saying.
But there's an interesting drunk species over in France.
Dude, I saw
If you've
this.
not seen this, give a listen.
Police in rural France issued a warning to drivers to be on the lookout for erratic deer that can be unpredictable when inebriated from fermented fruits. Authorities posted a video alongside their warning, showing a deer moving in unpredictable circles. In spring, some wild animals consume buds, fermented fruits, or decaying plants.
Bro, I watched the guy, this deer that was in the video was on the damn spin cycle.
Just doing donuts.
Dude,
like a dizzy bat.
So it was that bad?
Yeah, really bad. So they're eating whatever fermented fruits out in France.
Really?
And they're getting drunk.
Well, there are...
bud.
There were a lot of deer last night in twilight out. So there were a lot of deer out last night. So be careful. Be out there on the roads. There are a lot of deer.
So they got drunk in France and booked a flight to...
No, believe me, there's a ton out in Landview. Be careful. Be careful.
Good job, Austin. Connor will be back on Monday. Austin, you've done a great job. So did Sean earlier this week. Sean in Florida. Everybody leaving us this time of year. All right, coming up next, Amy Fadul will join us. It's a Friday with Fadul. Don't forget, Ask Me Amy thing toward the end of the show today. We still have a lot to get to. Kevin Nagandi is going to be joining us coming up at 9 o'clock, but we got to get Amy's takeaways from the Eagles schedule, her takeaways from the press conference that took place yesterday. And also, can we figure out John Kincaid's 5 losses? I have the area. I just need to pick the specific games. It's Kincaid and Sal Chunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.